All right, welcome in, boys. Another episode of Take It to the Bank. This week we are at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As always, I'm your host, Jay Paglia, with my guy, my NASCAR partner in crime, Reed Cooper. Reed, Coop, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Not much. Rough day at work, but other than that, ready for the weekend, ready to watch some racing. Wish it wasn't Atlanta, but it is what it is. You always have them every couple of weeks, months, whatever. But it should be good. It's gonna be cold down there, man.
Is it?
Yeah, I think Sunday the high is 48 degrees.
Wow, that's pretty cold for Atlanta, actually.
Yeah, at this time of year.
All right, so the streak's alive. We profited last Sunday on the Cup race. Every Cup race this year, although it didn't feel great. Our guy Happy was sitting there at 11-1. We had $5.50 of closing line value on Kyle Larson. We bet him at 9-1. And unfortunately, a late caution. You hate to see it in Happy's last year. Kevin Harvick gets screwed, and they go down pit road. A lot of guys took two tires. And on that last restart, Will Byron, for the second week in a row, found his way to victory lane. Now, that's 2 weeks in a row that you and I have had to get on him live around 3.5-1, which is really annoying, man, when we should have had that winner last week. But we did prop it on the race. And Saturday, we hit Sammy Smith to win the race at 18-1, and the top three and the top five. So all in all, it was a great week. We can't really complain. We made money on Sunday, but man, it should have been a lot more, Coop. And Willie B 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, last week was the tougher of the two Willie B weeks because the two cars we were on, they led 75% of the race. Where the week before it was, Willie B leading 75, percent of the race or whatever, maybe even more. I don't know. But yeah, that was a tough one. It was just tough. It's just ended that way.
Yeah, it was. But all in all, we cannot complain. It's been a sick month. February was great. It's been a great start to March. So yeah, I mean, we will just swing away and keep doing what we're doing. So this week we turn our eyes to Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the Ambetter 400. This is not a normal intermediate track anymore, right? Last year was the first year that what did they do? Because it's not a plate race, right? And it's the most banked mile and a half that we have now. So they're running the super speedway package, but it's not a plate race. The banking is crazy, right? And pretty much anything from before last year in terms of data, I guess you got to throw out the window, right?
Yeah, it's irrelevant. You have very little data here.
So overall thoughts on Atlanta?
I mean, I think we're going to see a little bit different race than what we saw last year. In that, the tires had some issues to create cautions last year. And knock on wood, but it appears the tire issues have been, resolved for the most part. And, if that continues, we could probably see maybe half of the cautions that we saw last year, maybe. I don't know. But, we'll just have to wait and see. It's a guessing game. I think the other piece that's really difficult with Atlanta is it's much tougher to pass at Atlanta than what it is Talladega and Daytona because the track is tighter. So, where track position isn't really critical at Daytona and Talladega, I think it's more critical this week because you're not going to drive up from 25th to 5th in 5, 6 laps, 7 laps like you can at Talladega or Daytona. It's going to take a little bit more time here because you don't have the passing, room, so to say, that you do at those tracks.
Right. And now, it was another week that Chevy absolutely dominates. And the latest victim was Phoenix. Now, they've won every race, right, to start the Cup year. Busch won. Hendrick won, what, 2, right?
Yeah, Byron won too.
Yeah. And then Ricky Stenhouse. So it's just they continue to do what they did. They're just levels above the competition before the tires even hit the track. They're phenomenal off the truck, and it's carried over into this year.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, Legacy Motorsports has really struggled, being a Chevy. And then, for whatever reason, the last couple races, RCR hasn't been, themselves or what you would expect out of them.
True.
Trackhouse has been, solid, but they don't seem to have that top line win race speed.
Yeah, but you know what though, Coop? Throw Hendrick out the window, right? Who's been better than Chastain and Suarez through the first month of the year?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I sat down and really thought about it, there might be a couple people to mention, but not many.
They're right there, right behind Hendrick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So now the big listen, man. When you hit 31 races in 38 weeks, you have to get different. Your average sports bettor does not win money, right? So oftentimes Coop and I find ourselves turning left when the public is turning right. And that has worked out for us, obviously, over almost a 2.5-year sample size now. And the big talk this week from the NASCAR betting community is everybody's treating this like a normal super speedway. And I'm sorry, but this is not a normal super speedway. And the numbers don't bear that out. Were there a ton of cautions? Yeah. What were there? 11 in the first race, 13 in the second race. But like we said, man, last year, especially in the beginning of last year, it was a total shit show. Motors were blowing, tires were blowing. It was crazy. And Coop, you brought it to my attention during one of the many conversations that we had this week, that at the end of the day, in the data that we do have, the cream still rose to the top. The guy that led the most laps in the race still found a way to win the race. And when I look at the betting market and I see numbers that you see at Talladega and Daytona, I feel it's just wrong. They should not be this high.
Yeah, I think, like every Sunday night after the race, I send you what I think the odds, not necessarily what I would book them at, but like what I think the books will open them up at.
Right.
And I thought Larson and I thought Byron would come in
would
at
be
like
in that 8 to 1 range.
8 to 9, 800 to 900. And
right.
They weren't. I was surprised.
That's exactly what I thought too. Now, because had this been the old Atlanta, they would have been 6 to 1, probably, right? 7 to 1,
probably, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
14 to 1 on Kyle Larson on a 1.5-mile track is absurd. I don't care how banked the track is.
Well, I think a lot of people are looking at like Kyle Larson and how he does in Talladega and Daytona.
Right.
And that's where that number's coming from. And while it's the same package, the cars race completely different. One of the first things I'm going to be looking for in this race on Sunday is who can paint that white line. And handling is so key. I mean, it's important in those races, but I mean, I think in this particular race, it's even more important than, let's say, a Talladega or a Daytona. But
and if you go back
the handling
and look,
factor.
If you go back and look at the 2 races from last year, Will Byron, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, even Denny Hamlin to a degree were able to drive that car wherever they wanted on the track. They were able to, they were able to paint, they were able to have their left tire on the white line wide open all the way around the track. I just don't see how that doesn't carry over into this race. These numbers, these Hendrick numbers at least are wrong, because you and we are very much on the same track with the NASCAR betting community when it comes to super speedways. Throw the top quarter of the field odds wise out the window, start looking for value in that 40, 50 to 1 range, and then work your way from there. And we agree with that normally when it's Talladega and Daytona. But I think that you and I are the only people that are not treating this race exactly like a super speedway from what I see.
I think the drivers, let's say plus 3,000 and longer odds, the Jones, the Briscoe, even in Stenhouse, who's good at this type of racing, at Talladega and Daytona, I think they're going to need a lot of things to happen in order for them to be at the top. So I just, think that for the majority, the cream will rise to the top. And, sure, there's going to be a couple drivers here and there that pop their way into the top 10 and things of that nature. But I don't know. I don't see it being like a Daytona and Talladega.
I'm right with you, buddy. Now, Mikey, in our chat, if you're listening to the audio version of this, we do a live YouTube show and then just rip the audio from there. Mikey says Kyle Busch loses pit stall selection after failing tech twice. Yeah. All right. Now, let me ask you, what did you make of the penalty on Hamlin and what happened with Hendrick penalty-wise?
I mean, with the penalty with HMS, I mean, it's hard to really understand from a fan's standpoint because there's so much going on that we probably don't even really know. Jack now says that, they're not getting good quality parts. So, they tried to make them work. And they weren't the only team because Colin, with Justin Haley had the same issues. So,
right.
If they're getting bad parts, that's one thing. But then on the other end, you say, well, if you're getting bad parts, why don't you just take it to NASCAR and say, hey, this is the crap you're giving me. Like, I can't use it. Like, it doesn't come in confirmation, and, that makes you wonder too, maybe they are trying to, do some stuff that they shouldn't be doing. So, it's from our level, it's, we can only make assumptions and, based upon what we see and hear. And you can't always trust, what's out there.
I didn't like the play. I didn't like the deduction of the playoff points. I thought that was a little strong, man.
Well, I mean, it's what they have in the rule book. It's not like, they just made it up or anything. But
you know what the fan sees? That they made them switch out those louvers before the race, right? Okay, yeah. So the fan sees Kyle Larson in practice and then qualifying, beat the field by 0.3 of a second on that first qualifying run. They make them change it, and then Hendrick goes out and leads 75% of the laps, absolutely dominates the race anyway, and then they're going to get the penalty? It's ridiculous. That seems crazy to me.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it is what it is. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think if they had a louver or B louver on the car, it didn't matter. They were very, very strong. There's some people out there that said, maybe it did make a difference. They were just set up for, really short run speed and blah, 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 blah. And then, the last part of the race, they weren't as fast as what they were because they got into, dirtier air and they didn't have the clean air. So, I don't know. And then, it makes you wonder, like, again, if they were using a faulty part, like, why wasn't, Alex Bowman and Josh Berry right behind them?
Right.
That part made them that much faster. So, I don't know. Just a lot of technicalities out there that, are way above our head that we don't understand, and things that are said and done. But it is what it is, and we move on.
All right.
As far as Denny Hamlin goes, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I know he went back and he appealed, the penalty on him, and I don't know. Part of me says, he did it to get attention for his, podcast and things of that nature. Part of me says it was just racing, and nothing should be done. So at the end, I really don't care what happens. It is what it is.
All right. So when on Monday, when the odds came out, Coop and I fired on 4 drivers. He fired on 3. We tweeted it out and we put them on the site. So we'll go down the board odds wise, and we'll just, as we go, we'll let you know what we're on. Will Byron is your favorite, tied with Kyle Larson at 9-1. I bet Will Byron at 12-1. You didn't bet Willie B, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So obviously we like Hendrick. Speed wise, it's not even close this year. They have the best car on the track. Kyle Larson 9-1. We hit him on Monday at 14-1. We think Hendrick is going to be strong. Kyle Busch 10-1 right now. We hit him at 16-1. And I expect him to be good. If you look at the segmented speed rankings at that second Atlanta track coupe, Tyler Reddick's whip was strong. Now I don't know if I don't know if they come with the same setup, or how much input Busch has into his own setup, but I expect that car to contend this weekend, right? You expect RCR to be good?
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps maybe at Phoenix they were trying some stuff. They're in the playoffs, and maybe they said, "Hey, this is the race we got to win at the end of the year, so let's try this or that," and it just didn't work for him. But Kyle, he managed, I think, a top 10, there at the end by driving around and managing that car. That wasn't very good, but I do think them will come back and see what they showed at Daytona and Auto Club from a speed perspective.
So we didn't talk much about this this week. Ford, Ryan Blaney's 12-1, Joey Logano's 12-1. They're the first 2 Penske's, and then I would assume Keselowski at 18-1. What do you think about Ford in general this week?
I just have to wait and see. What have they shown me? Not much.
Not much.
They show me that they can put down really good laps individually when it comes to qualifying. They haven't showed me that they can put down, a long period of laps, whether it be 15, 20, 40 laps consecutively. So, I'm just going to wait and see. And, this week it's really about the speed, which, tends to want me to like them more because, we've seen them kind of fall off, Logano and Blaney when it comes to managing the tires. And then on the other side, we've seen kind of the opposite for Keselowski, where, he's been better at managing the tires, and the top line speed has just been a little niched down. So, I'll wait and see what they do at the race. You're still going to get good numbers on them.
I don't disagree with you, because it's this package and how they usually run those 2 guys at Daytona and Talladega. This might be a better week. And if you look, I mean, Ryan Blaney's great here. I mean, he's got a win in the last 5, 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s, his last 5 races. So I agree. I think they'll probably be better than they have been the last couple of weeks. But when you think of the top 3 Fords right now on the year, I don't think Joey Logano or Ryan Blaney would be in my top 3 so far.
No, yeah, I'd have to put Harvick and then Keselowski and then one of the Penske's probably.
Yeah, not great so far for Penske.
No.
After Logano, what do you think about Gibbs? Denny looked pretty good last year at Atlanta. I watched those
Yeah.
races.
I mean, they're just kind of, hanging around. They haven't
I
really
think
showed us much of
Chris Bell
anything, to
too.
be quite honest with you. Their best performances have come on the long runs, where tires matter, and tires don't mean diddly this week. But they could have some really good handling cars. So again, the numbers are good. I'm just going to wait and see. Somebody's got to show me, and you know, this is another tough race. Like, I want to go back and see how many different leaders there were and when it happened, and like, I want to see when Elliott and Byron really dominated last year at Atlanta, and try to, because I just don't want to be firing off a bunch of bets because they're in the lead. Somebody's in the lead.
Right. If
I
you
want to be
look,
firing off that bet because they're really good.
right. If you look at the total speed rank at Atlanta last year, Chris Bell was first. Kurt Busch, which I guess is Reddick's car, was third, and Denny was 10th. I think they could be sleepers on Sunday.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like, the mile and a half at Las Vegas, they really weren't that great, were they?
No, you're right. They weren't.
Daytona, under this package, they really weren't that great, were they?
I would have to take your word for it. I don't remember.
So, well, I'm just going to wait and see.
Ross Chastain, 12-1. Man, I think he's going to be good, man. He did finish second, or he had the second best car in both races last year, but before that American flag car had damage late in that race, he was the best car in the race, hands down, last year.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, he had the same results at Phoenix, and he wasn't that great at Phoenix.
Yeah, that's true. I worry about Trackhouse for sure, but 12-1 is that's just too short of a price on track, because while you and I don't think it will be Daytona or Talladega, there will probably be some volatility on Sunday for sure.
Sure. I mean, but is it going to be, a car spinning out and collecting somebody else, a car spinning out and not collecting anybody? Or is it going to be, a car spinning out and collecting 8 or 9 others?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
That's what we'll have to wait and see.
After Denny at 12-1, then you got Bell at 12-1. We spoke about him. Tyler Reddick at 8-1. All these numbers are good enough where we can evaluate live, and that's why pretty much the entire NASCAR community isn't betting outrights, and they are going to react live. But I think that they are going to lose numbers on 2 cars real quick if they're running well, and that's Will Byron and Kyle Larson for sure. Keselowski. Go ahead.
So other than those 2, at the end of stage 1, what's the winner line? 7-1, 8-1?
You mean who won stage 1? What are their odds?
Yeah.
If it's not Kyle Larson or Will Byron,
right,
probably 9-1, 10-1.
If it's Ross Chastain, do you think it's 9-1?
I think he would be the one. Him and Kyle Busch would be the only 2 other guys that I could see, if they're running well early, I could see them start dipping that number down, because they always respect Kyle Busch, always.
So you don't think they respect Logano and Blaney?
No, not based off what we've seen this year. I think those numbers are going to be there if we want to hit them. Okay. What would you say? Somewhere around there, or you think it's going to be lower?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if it's a Daniel Suarez, I think it might be 12 or 13.
Right.
Something like him. But if I would say 8 or 9.
Yeah.
minus Byron and Larson.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with you too. Okay, after that, Kez, our guy Y2J in the Discord, I think he might have hit him. Kez is interesting, man. He's been running well. Him and Chris Buescher are they just been solid. Well,
Yep, they
you
have
think, but my problem is, like, I guess I do get a little greedy on these kind of tracks. Like, I don't know. Like, if he was 18-1, 100 laps into this race and look decent, I think I would be okay with maybe us taking a shot. But
Yeah.
18-1 pre-race, doesn't that seem a little? It seems a little cheap, no?
Yeah, I kind of think you can look at him like an Alex Bowman. If Keselowski was a HMS car, we would have been wanting to hit him at that
Yeah.
number that we got Bowman at.
Right.
But he's not, so we'll just wait and see.
Right.
So, but it's 2023 NASCAR betting. 2022, Brad Keselowski, would have been 26-1 or 25-1, even with how he's run right now.
Right. True.
So, that's what it is. We just got to, hold back a little bit more.
So that Coop just mentioned Alex Bowman. He's 18-1. He was the fourth driver I took and the third driver that Coop took at 25-1. We found a really good number on him. And for the same reasons. Hendrick, they're fast, man. They got the speed. And I expect them to be good. Bubba 20-1. Marty 25-1. What do you think?
So let's go back, and I asked you what the number was on Bubba, and you were like, I wasn't really impressed with what Bubba did at the end of last year on these mile and a halves on the comp course, on the comp tracks. So, you made some good points. He wasn't as strong. So, he's another wait and see for me.
Daniel Suarez and Kevin Harvick at 25-1.
Yeah, Suarez. I think Suarez is one. If I had to add another driver, it would have been Danny.
We're getting into the range of people now that I would be interested in. Like, I agree. I'm with you. Suarez, he finished 4th and 6th last year. He ran very well in those two races at Atlanta. I'm with you. I agree. Like, I'm tempted. Like, what number do we really? I mean, I guess because we're already on multiple drivers, we could just wait. But like, what number?
I told you what number I needed on Danny to bet him, and you weren't able to come through with me to find one stone cold lock MMA
You're right.
pick.
This is not the week. This is not the week.
Because if I want to bet Danny pre-race, I want it to be 45 or 50 because we're greedy.
Well, that's what we got. That's what we were getting on him like early last year, I think.
Right. And if you could have, felt comfortable providing that lock,
don't start. Don't.
No, I'm not. I mean, look, I told you in DM, I said, look,
you said don't force it, Keg. Don't force it, right?
I said, don't force it.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, if you would have found that lock, I would have taken a shot at Suarez and whatever you wanted. You know how I feel about parlays, but it would have given me a good number.
I know. Yeah, this wasn't the week. Bush, do you throw Chris Bush in the Keselowski basket?
Because, hold on a minute. This is the part where you were talking about the community earlier.
Okay.
And this is where the community was really upset because they wanted the drivers like Suarez and Jones and Stenhouses and even Keselowski's at better numbers, than what were out there. And they were too reluctant. To me, all the value is what we got up. We got value in Bowman. We got value in Larson. We got value in Kyle Busch. That's where the value was this week.
I totally agree, bro. You and I always throw out the top quarter of the odds bracket on super speedways, and this was the week where everything was flipped. The days of getting Daniel Suarez at 50-1 and Eric Jones at 50-1 on super speedways, those days are over. We got the best of it. These cars are better cars now, and you're not going to get a better price than 30-1. That's where you're going to be. That's your ceiling.
And I think, that's what I've said. I'm not going to complain about it. It is what it is. I'm just going to try to beat it, and, my way of trying to beat it this week is trying to take the value at the top of the board, that they're giving, because, in my mind, they should have been 8 and 9. And then, like, how we ended up getting Kyle Busch at that number, I don't know, because, like, all the books had him at 10 and 11. And then for whatever reason, Barstool put him at 15.
Crazy.
And I don't think he opened at that number. He was lower.
PointsBet opened him at 16-1, I think. And then Barstool, I think Barstool opened him at 15-1 too. Because, I mean, we were on it a minute after they opened.
Yeah, I don't know. I could have sworn it was lower, but it is what it is. We'll find out.
What do you think about Stuart Haas? Happy and the boys. You expect them to run well?
I would be Harvick, maybe. The others, I would be surprised. I don't know. This just isn't the Stuart Haas of the other day when they were really good on the Talladega and
like
Daytona.
If you look at Daytona, this year's Daytona race, right? Ryan Preece was first in total speed ranking.
We'll wait and see. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I agree. These numbers are good enough where we can.
But I mean, I can't bet Preece of 35 or 40-1, whatever the hell he is.
Yeah, I don't disagree. With you.
I would much rather have Kyle Busch at 15-1 than Brian Preece at 35,
right,
40, whatever.
After that, you got Ricky at 30, Jones at 30, Cindric at 30, Almirola at 30. Those are the 30 guys. Wait and see. They're all capable on their best day of being up there, no doubt.
They're all capable at Daytona and Talladega. I don't know if they're capable at Atlanta, is my concern.
I really don't disagree. It's hard. It's much harder to is there bump drafting at this track? Yes. Can you side draft? Yes. But it is a lot harder to pass here than it is. I mean, Talladega is fucking gigantic. Like, you do not have the surface area to move around like at Atlanta, like you do at Talladega. So I agree with you. I'm with you. Mm-hmm. It's everybody down here is wait and see. Now, you brought up RCR to me. You were like, I think they got a shot to run better here this week. With this package. Austin Dillon's in that 45-1-ish range. Think he can make some noise?
That's not a bad number in my mind on Austin Dillon. I think that's a fair number on Austin Dillon.
On this kind of track, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair number.
All right, Josh Berry. Now, I know we're going to get to the top 10s and everything, right? But now we're getting to like Josh Berry and Corey LaJoie are 50-1.
Whoa. Corey LaJoie is less than 50-1.
Corey LaJoie is 50-1 right now at DraftKings.
No.
Coop.
Bovada gave him the respect he deserves.
What is he?
33, remember?
33. 33. Yeah, 33. Yeah. Bovada. Imagine bringing that up. All right. Yeah, and then honestly, we're done with the outrights. Let's go to the top 3. Anybody in the top 3 market that you saw?
No, I haven't spent much time, to be quite honest with you, on the props this week because I'm just not into wanting to bet, a plus 150 or a plus 250.
Okay,
number.
I'm totally,
very...
totally with you. Except there are a couple ridiculous prices in the top 10 market. Like there,
I'm listening.
All right, so let's skip the top 3 and top 5 market. We have no interest, right? That looking at the top 10 market. Let me pull them up.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Is who's 1,000 to 1 on the book you're looking at
to win this race?
Yeah,
Harrison Burton.
All right. What's his top 3 and 5 number?
25 to 1 to hit the top 3, 12 to 1 to hit the top 5 at DK.
Okay, that's fair then. All right, never mind. Move on.
DraftKings, like they're literally their top 10 pricing this week is criminal. If you go around and shop the DK prices, you gotta have balls to lay numbers down that are that bad and expect.
Are they worse than Caesars?
I could pull up Caesars Coop, but they are $3 off the FanDuel pricing.
Right. Hold on. I'm going to pull up Caesars, and you can have DK up, and you can name me a driver, and I'll see if they're in the same ballpark. 1 minute, please. All right, name a driver.
All right, I'm going to tell you the guys I'm interested in. Corey LaJoie is plus 200, top 10 at DK.
Yeah, he's 200 at Caesars.
He's 5 to 1 to hit the top 10 at FanDuel. Corey LaJoie he runs well here, and I think that price is crazy, Coop.
Am I getting some Corey LaJoie love from you?
Yeah, that this week on this track, 5 to 1 to hit the top 10. That number is not right.
Wow. You're a Corey LaJoie fan all of a sudden.
Your boy might have that on the sheet. Okay.
All right, give me another driver.
All right. Another guy I like. What do you have on Mike McDowell?
On Caesars, 200.
Yeah, 200. He's 5 to 1 to crack the top 10 at FanDuel.
Is he 200 at DK?
Yeah, 200.
So they basically look like they copied and pasted.
Josh Berry. Now, you and I know that the kid is really good, but he doesn't have a ton of time in this next-gen car. Chase Elliott might have had the second best car last year at Atlanta. He's 5 to 1 to crack the top 10. What do you think about him this week? Do you think that there just hasn't been enough time in the car to make a bet like that?
No, I don't think so. Hold on a minute. Why can't I find the top 10s at FanDuel? I don't have any top 10s.
They're not under race props. They're right underneath the outrights.
There we go. All right, there we go. They moved them.
Yeah. Some of these top 10 places are really they're appealing.
This is what I told you earlier this week is like in the first race, only 2 drivers who had the numbers we're looking for finished in the top 10. In the second race, it was 5.
Half. That's pretty good.
Right, but we're expecting less attrition this year.
Right. True. That's true. But
nonsense.
But don't you think that Corey LaJoie didn't get up there because of good brakes? He had just a solid car.
Oh, well, let me remind you, Corey LaJoie had some of the best speed at Atlanta and Vegas.
Right.
Vegas and Fontana, excuse me.
He almost won, didn't he? He almost won a race, but ended up he screwed himself and took himself out.
All right. This is a deal, okay? I'm looking at it right now. I go in on Barry. I'll go in on McDowell. I'll go in on LaJoy, and I'll go in on Dinger.
Okay.
I can't go in on Todd Gilliland, and I can't go in on that Noah Gregson.
Okay. I'm okay with
I can't
that.
go in on Ty Dillon or anybody worse. So that would leave me with Ty Gibbs and Harrison Burton.
All right. Let me ask you what Ryan Preece is plus 480. What do you think about him?
I mean, you said they had speed. I wasn't as high on them.
Yeah, I fantasy race had number one total speed rank at Daytona this year.
I mean, the first four I really like, but like, would you rather take a shot at Ty Gibbs or Harrison Burton at 600 and 650 over 480 Ryan Preece?
God, I think I'd rather back the Stuart Haas car.
I mean, you know, if you go back to Daytona, man, Harrison Burton was there with like 15, 20 laps left.
He was. And if you look at him historically in the lower series, he's solid on these type of, but like you say, this is not a normal super speedway, right?
All right. So those numbers have been like that all week, right? Or ever since they released them.
They haven't moved.
Do you think one lap will make them move?
No.
Okay. So let's continue to talk about the others and just knock those four out. With McDowell, Barry, LaJoy, and Dinger.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a point 4. If you bet 0.4 of a unit on those four guys, you basically have a unit and a half total investment on those four to crack the top 10. I don't think that's bad.
Right. Like that's why maybe we need to just keep it at 4 and not add a 5th or 6th or 7th.
Yeah, 4. I'm good with those 4. Yeah, I'm with you.
All
right.
So you come back and
I like how this show's going. I like it. All right, looking at the matchups, I mean everything. I don't even see plus prices. Like this is not the week. This is not the week that you and I are going to be. Like I don't have any interest in betting groups. I don't have any interest in betting matchups. What do you think about Chevy wins the race?
It's a low number.
It is, but I think it's warranted, no?
I mean, they're not going to win every race.
What about the top? Did you look at the top manufacturer, top Chevy, top Ford prices?
Hold on. What books have them?
I think Caesars.
It's very limited. Go to Caesars.
Yeah, let me see.
Because I think your best friend started that bet this week, and they hadn't done it in the past couple of weeks.
Oh, Fred.
Yeah, hold
on. The track that will not be named.
Yes. So Fred has top manufacturers this week. See how they compare to Caesars. Start with Chevy.
Hold on, I'm looking. All right, top Chevy. I got Byron at plus 350, Bush at 4-1, Larson at 4-1.
Chastain, so right now, they're about 50 cents to $1 off.
Chastain 4.5-1.
550.
Bowman 8-1. Stenhouse 8.5-1.
15-1.
Suarez plus 950. What do you got on him?
12.
Dillon 14-1. What about him?
20.
That's so sick.
What about your new favorite driver?
Corey LaJoy, 22-1. What do you got?
3,000.
Don't make that bet because it will piss me off if it hits.
Hold on, let me do it.
Any interest in the Top Chevy?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's so hard.
Honestly, I this whole week, this is the section where I think you swing away and try to catch a price, because we already got the Chevys that we think are going to run well at way big numbers, right? So like, I don't mind somebody swinging for a LaJoy Top Chevy if it all hit right, or a Suarez or something like that, but I don't really have any interest.
What do you have on McDowell?
Let me see. 18.
22.
Yeah. Now Top Ford, I kind of like Top Ford a little better, just because the competition is not as hard. I think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, but then Blaney and Lagana could just show up and shut the door on your ass.
That's true. That could happen. What do you got on Kez?
Not a number I'd like to bet. 550.
What do you got on Busher?
A dime.
Yeah, I got 8.5. What do you got on Priest?
18.
Yeah, that's what I got. Like, I guess I wouldn't mind people swinging for like a McDowell or even an Almirola.
Like, I would rather, instead of adding those Ryan Preece, Ty Gibbs, Harrison Burton top 10s, like I would rather take that money and swing on this.
You would rather, instead of betting them to crack the top 10, swing at these?
Those three drivers. Like the Ford that we mentioned, I'm staying with.
Right.
But instead of adding more there, I would rather take that and swing on this.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. What about Toyota? What do they got for top Toyota?
Nothing great.
What do you got on?
19.
I have 11. I mean, that kid can't finish a race. I mean, he can't get out of his own way.
Yeah, and then all the other ones, like Reddick's at 430, Bubba's at 430, and Marty's at 555.
See, I got Marty at 230, and I got Reddick. I got Reddick at 6-1 though. Would you bet Reddick at 6-1 to be top Toyota?
What is Denny and Chris Bell then? 150?
Denny's 230. Chris Bell is 230. If you ask me, who give me the three Toyotas that run well this week, it would be Bell, Hamlin, and Reddick. Those would be the three that I think would run well.
I don't mind 6-1 on Reddick.
Yeah, I don't mind. Wow, Coop, I think you should bet Denny at plus 550. That's a good number.
Who?
I mean, Denny. You said Denny was 5.5-1, right?
No, Marty.
Oh, Marty. What do you have on Denny?
2.25.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say bet that right now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe Reddick. I'll think about it, but I don't mind that. Oh, Sign said MGM has better prices for me. Okay.
Oh, they have it up. Wow, they're on the ball game already. They got that up already on a Friday. They usually don't have that up till Saturday.
Let's see what we got. Listen, a side note. March Madness is going on right now, and it's absolutely ridiculous that you can't bet on a college basketball team that resides and plays in your state. This is going to be the second year in a row. We couldn't bet St. Peter's. We couldn't get on that run last year in Jersey. And now FDU beats a number 1 seed, and everybody's cashing tickets at 8-1. And me and Signed are sitting here holding our hands, pulling our pricks. Absolutely ridiculous.
Can you bet props?
No.
So you have the same regulations I have.
It's so dumb. All right, let me pull up all the bets at BetMGM. What do you got at BetMGM?
Nothing that beats Fred, really.
What's your Reddick number?
Lower, I think. Hold on. 400.
Yeah.
I need a Marty for $5.75. I can get him for 20 more cents, but
yeah, Reddick. I think those 4 top 10s that you and I spoke about, and Tyler Reddick at 6-1 to be the top Toyota, would be the only props that I'd feel comfortable signing off on, aside from the outright tickets that we already have.
I'm still with you. I think I would rather swing on Ford.
Okay.
I don't know.
But you're saying not the guys that we have in the top Ford, like not McDowell.
No.
If we're going to,
I mean, I would top 10. Yeah. No, I wouldn't mind adding them again.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, the way the standings have finished, I mean, if he finishes in the top 10, he has a chance to be the top Ford, as dominant as Chevy's been.
Yeah. And Priest too.
Yeah. So I mentioned it to you earlier in the week, and you really didn't care for it. But Caesars has winner of stage 1, 1,500-1, and stage 2, 12-1. Like, I like it because of the number. And it hit last year.
See, my concerns about that are, one, if it's a driver that we already have, we basically have an extra unit on one guy, and I'm not sure that we would want to waste a bullet on betting somebody a second time and possibly at a worse number. Number 2, like if you told me Ross Chastain was going to win the first stage, I'd like that, because I would like to have him at 15-1 in my pocket.
Logano or Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, like so I see the appeal, but to let's say we invest a unit in each of those, we're already on a few guys. Like, that feels like if a couple of our guys, because of volatility, hit the wall, I think it puts us behind the 8 ball in terms of how we react in race.
What about a quarter of a unit?
I mean, yeah, that I don't mind that. I mean, a quarter of a unit, I don't mind that at 15-1 and 12-1. But I wouldn't want
because so hold on. I think if you do it at a quarter of a unit,
right,
you can play the scenario where if it's a Bowman, yeah, the number's less, or if it's a Busch or a Larson, the number's equal or less. But it just gives you a little bit more, on top of it. But if it's like a Chastain or a Blaney or a Logano, then, maybe it turns our, 8-1, 9-1 live shot into a 12-1. 13.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand what you mean. No matter what, the only good thing about that bet is that no matter what, the chances are at the end of stage 1, you will probably get a better number, and unless it's really like somebody at like 20-1. I don't think I think the in race number on the that you hit will be lower than the price that we're going to get on that stage 1, right? But are you worried? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, definitely on stage 2, it's going to be a better number.
My worry about stage 2, though, is we wouldn't be in a situation where the front of the pack comes in and it's some bullshit guy, right? That ends up winning stage 2, a guy that we wouldn't want, some bum.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so I don't mind that. I mean, at a quarter unit, I don't mind that, but I wouldn't want to bet a unit on each.
I mean, I like it because of the number you're getting. I'd rather take my shots at that than like a head-to-head that's plus 105 or a group that's plus 260.
Right. Yeah. So there is no practice, right?
No, just one qualifying lap tomorrow.
One quad. So what does your gut say? Does your gut say Hendrick comes off the truck again, King?
Yeah. I think Bell, Blaney, and Logano. Maybe a dark shot of Kez. But other than that, I do think it's Hendrick and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Kyle could be him too.
Like, I don't think Ryan Preece or Eric Amarola or, Ty Gibbs, comes out of anywhere and just, wins qualifying.
If I said to you, who would be the first 3 guys that you're concerned about going into the race, tickets that we don't have, my 3 would be both Trackhouse cars and Chris Bell. What would your 3 be?
It's really 5.
Go ahead.
Blaney, Logano, Bell, and Trackhouse.
So, man, you're talking about Blaney and Logano a lot tonight. You're getting me fucking nervous.
No, I think you go out just thinking the race. I don't know.
Yeah. Man, you just never know because they will fall through the floor on you faster than you can blink sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, they will. But no, I mean, I told you at the beginning of the week, my main focus really wants to be getting the winner.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Other than that, I'm going to stick with the top 5. I mean, the top 10s that I mentioned earlier, and then I'll think about that stage winner.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm happy that you're on board with those top 10s because I thought you were going to say that you didn't like them, and that would. No,
I think we treat it like we did at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If we get 2 of them, we're great. We get 1 of them.
We get one. Yeah, we get 1 of them. Yeah. We made money. Yeah, for sure. All right. So to recap, boys, Coop and I. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you want to hit on the truck or Xfinity race real quick?
I haven't done anything. That was going to be my homework when I was in bed tonight. Here's what I will say. Austin Hill at 4.5-1 when we cashed them like twice at 14-1. Like, that number was surprising to see.
Really?
4.5-1, Coop? The dude was 20-1 last week.
Dude, the guy may be the best racer of any series in this package.
Okay. I understand it. Yeah, but now, granted, it's not a normal super speedway, and it's not a plate race, right?
He almost won both races last year here.
Coop, You're preaching to the choir, bro. I've been blowing the guy for 3 weeks.
I think it's a deserving number.
4.5 to 1, bro.
I think it's a deserving number.
I think
I'm not going to bet it, but I think it's deserving.
I think that you went outside and you didn't hit the joint. I think you smoked a little crack 5 minutes ago, because you can't sell me in 1 week. I don't care. I don't care if we're racing in his backyard. He should not be 4.5 to 1 after.
What do you think? It should be 6?
750, maybe.
The guy's dominant on this track, man.
I know.
This type of race.
Let me ask you this: would you bet him? Would you bet him at 4.5 to 1?
No.
Yeah,
what I would like to say is, hey, Keg, give me that MMA.
No, don't
so
start.
8.
Don't start with this. Do you think it's him and everybody else?
No, I don't think it's him and everybody else. I mean, there's going to be cars that are right there who are competitive with him. I think Ryan Truex has done well in this type of format, and he's in a very good car. The guy that I like is Riley Herbst, 25 to 1. He does well in this format, and he's quietly hit the top 10 in every race this year. They had a big sit down talk with him and talking about how to, let's make sure we finish the race. Let's make sure we take what the car gives us type of deal. And he's done well with it so far. But I can see him being a contender at a good number. But other than that, I think maybe the Sieg driver at 50 to 1. He hasn't shown as much speed, which is worrisome. But other than that, other than Herbst, maybe, I'll probably just bet it live.
Who's in Barry's car?
Who's in Barry's car? Josh Berry.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking he's full-time Cup now because we're betting on him. I forgot Chase Elliott's hurt. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
What were you just saying about that? Going outside?
I haven't left my chair, bro. Okay. Well, yeah, I think that I expect him to be good then tomorrow.
Yeah. Him and Briscoe have been disappointing so far this year, and Brandon Jones. So, but
I'm with you.
I have a hard time going in too deep on that Xfinity race at the beginning, because unlike you, I have a lot of respect for Austin Hill at this type of race.
All right. Looking at the truck, I saw. I looked at him quickly, and I saw Zane was like 5 to 1 earlier in the week.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If Austin Hill is 4 to 1 or 4.5 to 1.
Yeah.
And what right mind should Zane Smith be 5 to 1?
I totally agree.
Because sure, he's won 2 Daytona 500s, but one was with the rain. But come on, that's a crazy number if you want to ask me.
I don't disagree with you. What do you think about Ty Majeski tomorrow?
I'm already on the trucks. I haven't placed any bet, but I know where I'm going to go if I do anything.
Where are you going?
Ben Rhodes.
Oh, now it's Ben Rhodes. I got laughed out of the fucking building when I was on him at 20 to 1 a couple of weeks ago. Now it's Ben Rhodes today all of a sudden. Oh, okay. I wonder why. Because he was a machine. That's why.
He's shown some speed this year.
Way to go, Keg. You're a beast. Yeah, you got him, buddy. Way to put me on him.
And he's historically done well, with this type of racing.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, in fact.
The other driver I like is Nicholas Sanchez.
Who?
Nick
Who?
Sanchez.
Who's that?
He is probably the best KBM driver out there. He's not in a KBM truck, but he's in a KBM affiliate truck, and it's basically a KBM truck. And I think he's the best KBM driver.
I am slipping on my truck series work. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, he's a young one, 20-1. And then I was thinking about going deep into the woods.
Come on, bro. Where are you going?
There's some drivers out there at 100 to 125-1 that I don't mind.
I can't wait. Good.
You want to guess? You're probably looking at the numbers.
I am looking at the numbers, but I couldn't tell you. I mean,
I think
Raj,
Haley Deegan.
Yeah.
She's in the same type of truck that Ben Rhodes is in.
Yeah, she's not Ben Rhodes.
She's just had a lot of bad luck,
Oh yeah, I'd say.
But I don't mind that number because of the truck that she's in. Because the truck could be better than her one night. All right. And I don't mind taking 100-1 long shot on her. The same for Jack Wood. He loves to get in accidents just like Haley Deegan.
Jack Wood is 40-1 at DK Coop.
He's 100-1 out there. You can get it for 100.
Okay. I'll shop.
But again, you got to respect the KBM.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't think he's, a great driver, but the truck could get it done one night. And then, another driver, right along the same routes as the other two, Rajah Caruth.
Yeah.
Good truck, good talent, but he likes to find wrecks, man. 100-1.
I'm protesting your Ben Rhodes pick, by the way. I'm gonna bet it on protest. I just want to put that out there. It's all on protest, no matter what. Get on my guy 2 weeks after me. I'm protesting this pick.
But see, this is why I asked you earlier what the 100-1 top threes and top fives were. And they're comparable to what you can get for these guys and lady. Because I might go top 3, top 5, because I could see them finishing top 3, top 5, 1 or 2 of them, versus the win, because you got the machine Ben Rhodes who might win it. But they're comparable along that line. 2,500 for a top 3 and 1,200 for a top 5.
What was the best number that you saw on Ben Rhodes this week?
10.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything better.
I'll look at all my outs tonight. See what.
You might get lucky at Superbook or something, but the majority of the books have them 8.5, 9 to 10.
So what are you going to do for Xfinity? I mean, I can't. I'm not that. If Austin Hill wins the race, God bless him. But I'm not that.
Right. I mean, if I do anything, it'll be Riley Herbst.
I might just hope that Austin Hill, something happens to the car and it ends up being wide open.
Right. Because like I mentioned Truex. I think Truex is around 10. That's just not enough for me to take a shot right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a Sammy Smith or Chandler Smith type of race. They'll probably be up there. And then, not only do you have Austin Hill to contend with, you have Justin Haley to contend with too. Justin Haley is really good. 8, I think.
8 to 1. Yeah. Yeah. He is really good in this series, especially on these type of tracks.
So that's why it's really tough. I feel more comfortable taking shots in trucks than what I do in Xfinity.
All right, buddy. This was a fun show. I laughed. Just to recap our picks in the Cup Series, Coop and I are on Larson at 14-1, Will Byron at 12-1, Alex Bowman at 25-1, and Kyle Busch at 16-1. And then the 4 top tens that we took were Preset plus 480, Josh Berry at plus 500, Mike McDowell plus 500, and Coop Sky, Corey LaJoy at plus 500. Aside from that, we get in the Sports Keg Discord, because if we do end up betting those top Fords, they will be they'll end up being in the Discord. Probably are not going to make the spreadsheet or the website this week. And then finally, Coop's 2 weeks late to the party, and he's going to be on Ben Rhodes at the truck during the trucks.
I got one more thing for you.
Go ahead. What else you got?
Do we need to look at Happy at 16-1 for the championship?
Man, I brought him. He was 25-1 right before Daytona, and I brought him up, and you really weren't that interested in him. I don't know. Do you think he's done it? Do you think he's done enough to warrant?
Well,
I'm not sure if he has done enough yet. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking if he gets in and he makes it, he's going to be very good at Phoenix in that last race. I know. I know what I already know what you're thinking.
Well, the other thing I'm thinking is that number is not going to be that long, because if things play out like they did at Phoenix, he might absolutely just lap the field at Richmond.
Here's what I'll say to you. I'm not against it, but before that happens, we have to just take a look at those final 10 races and really see if those races we think that he'll be competitive enough to get to Phoenix. Then I'm not against it.
Right. Don't disagree.
All right, that's it, boys.
I want to hit it before it goes down to 13 or 14.
Well, I mean, we could look at that tonight. That's something that we can do tonight.
Because look, if he won on Sunday, he would be 13 right now.
I don't disagree with you, and that added extra bonus of probably one of his best tracks to be in this next gen car is the finale. That's a really big strong point for him. But it's not going to matter if he's dead to get there. So I just want to take a look at those races. But we could do that before Sunday, definitely. Tomorrow we will be live at 1:00 all day. We got UFC 286. We have 2 NASCAR races. We have the NCAA tournament going on. We're going to be live from 1:00 until probably midnight. And then Sunday at 3:30. Yeah, Coop. You know how I go hard, Coop. I go hard. And then hey, man, this is what it takes to not punch a clock for the last 13 years. We go hard. And then Sunday, Coop and I will be doing what we do at 3:30. But, Coop, if you're around tomorrow, come hang out, man. I like when you come and hang out on Saturdays. Aside from that, we will see you guys next week. Good luck if you tail, and hopefully we keep the streak alive. We'll see you guys next week. Later.